Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning.
I hear that you have a wonderful story, a beautiful memory of a time in your life when you were just 9 years old. Would you mind sharing that story with us?
No, I don't mind. When I was 9, my father and mother bought a new car, and we were going to take a trip. So we started out on Route 30, which was a 2-lane highway then. And we headed east to Pennsylvania and heading towards Gettysburg. We had to stay overnight, and in those days we didn't have the big motels that we have now. They had what they called tourist cabins, $2 a night. So we stayed there, and then we went on to Gettysburg, and we toured the battlefield. We were all history buffs. And after we left Gettysburg, we went down to Washington, D.C., and saw all the monuments that were there at that time. Then we headed down what was going to be Skyline Drive. Part of it was finished, but the 3C was still working on the rest of it. So it went fine for a while, and then we got to the construction, and my mom decided she was going to walk. She wasn't going to ride. And so Dad told her, he argued with her, but he told her, go ahead. So she got out. And my older sister said, well, Mom's not going to walk by herself. So she got out. So Dad started up the car, and he went down slowly. And then finally he stopped and waited for him to catch up. And they were really ready to get back into that car. And we went on down to Waynesboro, Virginia, which would be the end of the Skyline Drive. And we stayed with some friends that had moved there from Canton. They had lived neighbors to my grandmother when my dad was growing up, and the elderly lady was called Lena, but Dad called her Aunt Nina, and he loved her cookies. We stayed there for a couple of days, and then we proceeded home by a different route. 10 years later, when I was working in Washington, D.C., I was invited to come back. And so I went down for a weekend. I took a bus down, and it was very enjoyable. And then Harry, the son-in-law, asked me if I would like to go for a ride. And I like to travel, so I got in the car, and he took me back up, finished Skyline Drive, and he stopped. He said, do you know where you are? And I said, no. He said, well, this is the spot where your mom and your sister decided they were going to walk. It was such a good memory. I enjoyed it very much. And I took the bus back up to Washington. And that was it.
Thank you, Vivian, for sharing that wonderful memory.
Thank you.